Hello, happy June, everybody. So I do see we do have two people waiting. Gonna wait a few more minutes. See who else shows up. As always, if you can like and share the stream to see if we can get some more people in here, that'd be appreciated. Um, so if you'd like to share, while we wait, of course, like to share how your day went today, how your weekend went, or whatever, you're more than welcome to. Um, I know we just got started, and of course, person left, so guess I'm by myself for right now. One is the loneliest number that you'll ever see. One is the loneliest number you'll ever be. And then I have zero people watching. That's not true, 'cause I'm at least here. Hmm. We continue to wait to see who else shows up. Let's see. Leto's here. Goody. Hey, Leto. They're not here. I see you, Leto. Hey, how you doing, man? How'd your day go today? Let's see. Yesterday was a disaster. What part was a disaster? Are you talking about the stream we did yesterday, or are you talking about just your day overall? Terrible. I didn't get to stream, but I did get a raise. Okay. Well, on the one hand, it was kind of bad, but on the other, it sounds like kind of good because you got a raise, meaning you got more money. It would seem. If you can remember to like and share to see if we can get some more people in here, that would help out greatly. Thank you. Hmm. And that says we have two people watching now. Okay. There we go. Now we're starting to get some more stuff going on here. Let's see. Yeah, the stream. Oh, yesterday's stream here. I mean, very unorganized. At least we can think something up of topics next time, so we won't get off track. Yeah, that kind of because I knew like particularly toys wanted to do the open mic, so I kind of just maybe I should have gone in with a little bit better plan. Um, but then May May wanted to talk about something, and actually I did watch that video today. That's one of the things we'll be covering tonight. I'll probably talk a little bit more about what's up here in a bit. Hey there. Hey, 80. Let's see. Hey, Pickle. I thought it was fine and enjoyed it. Yeah. Mm, yeah. Okay. Yes, it's all right. So, there we go. I enjoyed it too. Just the awkward silence sometimes. I wish I had came in with some topics. Yeah. Well, actually, some of the stuff we did get around to talking about, I will be talking about a little bit more tonight. We have 4 people in here now, so that's good. As always, guys, if you can remember to like and share the stream to where we can see if we can get some more people in here, that help quite a bit. P.S. I found a headset with a mic, and I want to try it out. Okay. Well, pickle, yeah, too nice. That's nice, pickle. Dave, howdy, y'all. I'm sleepy and trying to imagine up some due south memes. That show is too wholesome, so not the easiest. Hey, Dave, how you doing, man? I don't know if you knew, but we had an open mic night last night. So if you had, but I know you're usually shy, so actually that does also remind me of something that I am going to need to do here. We got 4 people in here now. Let's see, where are we at on time here? Um, 7, so about 7.5 minutes in. So we got 4 people. Hey, Leto. Hey, Mike and 80. Hey, Dave. All right, so we're coming up on 8 minutes. We got 4 people in here now, so guess it would be a good time to talk about what's on tap for tonight. So basically, everything's going to be more or less anime and TV related tonight. Uh, I'm going to save some of the comics news for tomorrow. Partly because, of course, of what the topic May brought up last night about that video. I did watch it today. I have some comments on it. An anime exposed video from Little Light Studios. I'll talk a little bit about that. Um, and I know Dave wasn't here last night, so I'll kind of go over a little bit of what we talked about a little bit in that regard. Um, Also, got some Crunchyroll news, some Funimation news, some Rugrats, and some news on the Rugrats reboot, as well as some news on the live action adaptation of the Powerpuff Girls. So, um, hey, Batgoat. Let's see now. Hey, all. Hey, Batgoat. Nice. Hey, Batgoat. Hey, Dave. I came here from watching uh Volcanoes from around the world. Just kind of person I am. Well, a nice wrench. You watch the whole thing. Most of it. I didn't watch the whole thing. I watched like 40 minutes of it, Leto. Basically by that point I pretty much could tell what was gonna be, where they were going with it and stuff. I didn't, I more or less didn't need to watch the whole thing. I pretty much understood what they were talking about, but I watched the majority of it enough to where I can give some commentary on it. I'll put it that way. Hey, back up. Did you watch it? Yo, Leto. Howdy, back go from 80. What's Boycanos? Na 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 bad goat. Na 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 na. Sup, Dave? 80. Fat goat is here. Yep. Laugh out loud. Um. Hey, whoa! I got a wrench. No, I didn't. No, I didn't have the time. Yeah. All right. Well, that's understandable, but volcanoes from Iceland, Argentina, Russia, etc. Oh, volcanoes. I didn't see that as an L. I was seeing that as an I. Yeah, that's why I said nice wrench, laugh out loud. All right, so we're like 11 minutes in, so all right. Volcanoes from okay, we already read that. Laugh out loud, Mike. Mike, take off my wrench, laugh out loud. I don't feel special. Um Leto, the thing is though, is that actually Batgoat and I were talking the other day. He had suggested that I should, and upon thinking about it, I think you're here enough of the time, and um, are you absolutely sure you want me to take off the wrench? You know, because that does say something that says that you've earned kind of earned a matter of respect here. Volcanoes, they're cool. They're hot. Yeah, I am a wrench. Unnecessary long drum string. He's joking. Keep the wrench. So this is butt goat. Oh, come on, Leto. You know, about 80. And I do thank you guys for the likes and shares as well. That does help with the algorithm. Alrighty then. So, as I said, let's get started with the news. Now, normally I pull up an article to read, but the first story we're going to talk about is something that we talked about a little bit last night. Wasn't based on an article; it was more based on a video that May had shared about a YouTube channel called Little Light Studios, which basically they're a Christian group um, who does videos, does talk about some pop culture stuff. Um, let's see. Apparently, you guys keep the wrench. Going to order some Chinese. Be right back. 5 minutes. All right. Hey, my fan club calls me Mr. Buck. We should run with it. Uh, get some mushu pork. Okay. All right. So, anyways, so I know Dave wasn't here last night. So apparently, Little Light Studios they're a Christian group, Christian ministry group that does you know does give commentary on some pop culture. And apparently, they came out with kind of an anime exposed kind of video where they were talking about um, the dark secrets of anime, and they had some criticisms of of like Dragon Ball, like more popular ones that were that were on Toonami. Like now, some of their criticism, after watching the video, some of their criticisms may be somewhat founded, but overall, they're stretching on a number of issues, and I think they really. Um, so basically, the first part of the video was kind of just more of a general introductory thing. They talked a little bit about like some of the history of anime. Um, they had some notable critiques of like Sailor Moon and I guess the two main ones they talked mostly about were Sailor Moon and Dragon Ball and the Dragon Ball franchises, albeit they had some commentary on Neon Genesis Evangelion and like Seven Deadly Sins and a few others as well. Um, their main criticisms for a lot of it was just simply, a lot of the usage of the Christian imagery and, basically calling how they were being used as being blasphemous. Let's see. General Santos chicken. The general is always a good idea. Let's see. And those crab rangoon things, much better than better than bad. Hey peeps, hey ATC, welcome to the stream. You can like and share the stream, that'd help. Yeah, some places nail the post stickers. Action. Yo toys. Dave. Yo Bat Goat. Hey Pickle. Hey Leto. Let's see. I ordered Chinese today and filled my belly with crab ragoons and some fried dumplings for breakfast tomorrow. Did you know that the eyes they draw on anime aren't proportionate to real life dark? Um, well, I did have some comments on that as well. Um, yeah, they learned from Jim Davis. Well, from what I understand, James Lee, who mentioned this the other night on Critical Blast open mic. Apparently, a lot of the mangakas got a lot of their and anime animators got their inspiration from Disney. Believe it or not. So, hey Mike, hey ATC, that goat laugh out loud. How about the Garfield creator, Big Eyes? Never mind. Greetings, Action Toys channel. Like the Christian imagery in Bible Black, that's your favorite, right? I've never heard of Bible Black. No, like what they were talking about was like the Christian imagery used in like Neon Genesis Evangelion, how they call the villains in it, angels, for example. Um, one of the other ones that they kind of were critical of was Heaven's Lost Property, basically about cybernetic angels who were sent down to Earth. Solid. I see. But so we got Disney to blame for all of this degeneracy. Oh boy. Damn it, Dave. Shakes fist. Don't mention Bible Black here. Anyway, guys, I'll be right back. I'm just gonna turn on my turn on my room light here because it's now getting pretty dim. All right, I'm back now. Let's see. There's a bit of a emoji there. Pennies are also used to put on eyes on dead people. I have found that the ones for my eyes. Well, yeah, I that might be more in Greek mythos. As I understand it, it's the idea of paying. I think the entity's called Charbitus or something like that. The fairy guide to the dead. Laugh out loud. I'm going to lurk. I'm not up for much. All right, that's fine. As long, we're glad you're here, though. That's pretty dark to call. I found pennies for your eyes when you go. I mean, uh, 2 coins for Sharon the boatman. Yeah, that's what I was talking about, Dave. I just couldn't remember. Karen. Yeah, I know why I'm scared to use my voice. I am a weirdo. Karen, the farrier across the river Styx. Yeah. Okie toys. Um, by the way, hi toys. All right. So, anyways, back to what I was talking about, though. So, I did watch the video. I watched the majority of it. I didn't watch the whole thing. Basically, I watched 40 minutes of it. I pretty much figured out where they were going with it and what they're. So, a couple of things I took from it. One, their target audience, who they were basically trying to go after in terms of watching it, um, most specifically, are Christians who watch anime, and because in at least this group's personal opinion, in this group's belief, based on the scriptures that they use, anime is sinful. It's the idea. So the scripture that they used a lot in it, about the idea of not setting your eyes on wicked things. The underlying idea there is that if you watch evil things enough, the general belief is if you watch them enough, they will eventually corrupt you to where you yourself could end up justifying the evil behavior and then going out and doing it. That's basically where they were going with that notion. Um, that was basically the underlying message. They got a lot of heat for it because I not only I watched the video, but I also looked through the comments. I looked through the conversation, that and the trailer for the video as well. Um, and apparently, the reason they don't have parts 2, 3, and 4 on there is because those videos kept getting copyright striked, even though they were claiming fair use. But a lot of their criticism, like they spent quite a bit of time just sitting there dissecting the Dragon Ball franchise, particularly Dragon Ball Z, and probably one of the biggest problems the with how they were with their arguments against Dragon Ball Z is that they were trying to make it sound like the Dragon Ball franchise as a whole, whether Dragon Ball Z, Dragon Ball Z, what have you, that the Dragon Ball franchise is somehow connected to Christianity. Okay, they try to make it sound like, oh, Frieza is Jesus and Goku is Satan. That's basically where they were going with it. They took notice of like Satan, the characters named Satan in it, and Videl. They were really doing a lot of like stretching, and there was a lot of misrepresentation there because, and as somebody else had pointed out, in the comments on the trailer video, is one of the things they were trying to argue was how some of the more, because okay, now everybody here I'm sure knows that Dragon Ball has an edited or cut version of it and an uncut version. The cut edited version was shown during Toonami. The uncut version was shown later at night or at a time when you don't have real young kids. So they were misrepresenting that fact. They were basically trying to make it sound like everything was being presented to every part of it. The cut, uncut versions were both being presented to kids. And from what I saw of it, first off, a lot of the kids, because one of the things the video started out with is they went to a convention. They went to a convention and started interviewing anime con goers. They would interview the con goers about how they got into anime and stuff. And a lot of them said, well, they started watching like anime, particularly stuff like Dragon Ball and stuff, when they were 8-10 years old. Dragon Ball, Sailor Moon, a lot of Toonami stuff, without their parents knowing. A lot of times, without their parents' knowledge or consent for them to be watching it. Now, as most of us here know, most anime is geared towards, older kids. It's not, with maybe the exceptions of stuff like Digimon, Pokemon. Most anime particularly that we talk about here, is geared more for at the very youngest middle school, at the very youngest. But yeah, I know I've been talking. Let me see, because I know you guys have been chatting it up quite a bit. Let's see what you guys have been saying here. I've been talking about all this. I know. Okay. See. We saw that. Let's see. There's a lot. It's fine. I'm scared to use my voice too. From Leto. Gorum Greeks with their K's. We got a local beer named after it using the spelling. That's all I know. Let's see. That's never been proven, though. The violent video game theory is pretty soundly debunked. Yeah, I mean, just because that's kind of the case doesn't mean that there aren't going to be people who still will use the argument. Okay, and that's basically one of the key things here, is that they're still using the argument. Okay. This assumes anime is all evil, and Dave, that's a big part of the point of their videos, of the videos of this group called Little Light, of what this with this documentary is. Okay, that's the point they're arguing. They're basically trying to prove to people that all anime is evil. Okay, that's kind of where they're going with it, and they got called out for it by a number of people. Okay, um, now, Grant, as I said, I think their primary target audience is Christians who watch anime because they feel that Christians who watch anime and justify anime um, are not following God's laws and the Bible's teachings on it. So if you keep watching romance animes, you may find romance. Well, I mean, by their logic, yeah, but they wouldn't argue that point. But there is another aspect that I'll probably talk about here in a sec. Um, how to get through these comments. I realize you are bringing up their side. Yeah. Have a good point, Leto. You wish, Leto. I'm just giving their perspective, Fat Goat, so people understand. Doesn't necessarily mean I agree with it, and I do. And we all know of at least one Christian who would probably have some issues with one how they're presenting their argument, and two, um, how they're trying to reach people. I think if Vic saw that, I think he might have an issue with how they're presenting it, because there are even a couple of Christians who called them out on it too. That there are even some Christians who are calling them out on it because they feel that the way they were presenting it is only going to harden, as the quote, the people who were criticizing them were going to harden the hearts of those that they're trying to reach. You know, you know, as I said, the primary target was Christians who watch anime, who are Bible believing Christians, but to a lesser degree, it's anime fans in general too. And what they also seem to forget is that Superbook and Flying House were animes as well. So Super Aryan Goku. I'm married. I gave up on romance. Uh, I think it's funny that people assume and not use common sense in innate reasoning is instinct. G. Leto. So if I keep watching German sheesh prawn, I'll turn into a piece. Uh, Again, I'm just giving, as you said, Back Goat. I'm just presenting their side of it, and probably a more trying to present their side of it in more of a way that makes sense. Okay. Again, their reasoning is severely flawed. Okay, and there is some definite misrepresentation there. Okay. Okay, it is quite a stretch to suggest Dragon Ball has anything to do with Christianity. But that's exactly what these people were were trying to get at. They were trying to suggest that Goku was the Antichrist. Okay, so that's that's a hell of a stretch. That is a hell of a stretch. And you know, it's like, now some of the stuff they talked about earlier in the video, I think more of us could be in a little bit more agreement with. Now, As I said, I'll get to that in a sec. As I get to these chats here. I wasn't trying to make a joke. Saw you laughing. I see why. Laugh out loud. Laugh out loud. Leto. Why I got divorced. Um, I watch a lot of cooking shows. Does that mean I'm going to take myself way too serious? Get sleeve tats, and gain half a ton. Yeah, back up. You're preaching to the choir here. Okay, I'm okay. Like a lot of people, I agree. Their reasoning is severely flawed. No romance, just unconditional love to Cal. Absolutely, Becca. Yes, Buck. You too, well transformed into a Discord bot. Uh, cool. Sounds like a plan. Hamtaro, fit for all ages. Yeah, I mean, each their own. Glad for you and yours, Leto. Me, I am atypical. No, not you, Richard Gere. At 80 pickle. Oh, 80 just added herself. Okay. Do you feel out of place here? Yes, I do, but enjoying being here. You're silly, 80. I like that. We like having you here. Yeah, 80, you're nice. I hope we do get a chance to bring you into the one of the open mic nights somewhere down the line. I'd love to hear your voice. I like pickle. Okay, typical. So if Dave keeps watching Bible Black, blah blah blah, that means Dave shouldn't drop soap. I have no idea because, as I said, I've never seen Bible Black, so I didn't even know there was it. Vic wouldn't like their. Yeah, my point exactly, Backo. Vic, I don't think. I think we have a clear video. Okay, I'm sure you got. I'm sure most, if not all of you, have seen that one video that got from, I think it was from back in 2012 or something like that, where you did have those Christians, um, in essence, protesting an anime convention over the whole LGBT issue, and Vic went out there to support the kids there. Um, yeah, so we know he wouldn't care for the message back out, in my opinion. Yeah, smiling. Well, to be fair, that's true. The Bible says to forsake worldly things. Anime is a worldly thing, so if you're strict with it, Catholics, then they're right. Yeah, I mean, from a biblical standpoint, Dave, from a biblical standpoint, they do have a legitimate point. They just, but there are other aspects to it that they're forgetting. Like one of the points I brought up when we were talking about last night is that there's another story, about Jesus and the adulterous woman, right? And this is when the Pharisees tried to trick Jesus. Okay, so the Pharisees brought a woman who had been caught in the act of adultery, and they go to him and they say, um, "Master or teacher, um, this woman um, has been caught in the act of adultery. The law says that she is to be stoned to death. What say you?" And so Jesus would, get down, on one knee, by near the stone or whatever. He'd take a rock or a pebble or something, start writing something in the stone thing, a stone tablet or whatever. And then he gets up and he goes, Let he who hath no sin cast the first stone. And everybody just disappeared real quick. You know, he was reminding them that it was not for them to judge. It was not for them to judge other people's sin. It was for God to judge sin. Okay. So, um, but as Vic would even point out, there's got to be some love in that too, in terms of counseling people like that. It's like one of the things I often point out, you know, or people to understand about Christianity is that one of the main teachings is that you need to love the sinner while hating the sin. Okay, that's more or less. In other words, yes, you forgive people for their sins, but you don't condone it. Okay? You don't condone bad behavior. Okay, you can forgive the sinner for committing the sin without condoning the sin. Yeah, he shouldn't. Yeah, he wouldn't. Normal people know common sense and what's real and what isn't. The humans are not perfect, and Jesus was a chill dude. Yep, that's true. That's a very true statement. Okay. Actually, that's another thing that we're taught is that as human beings, we are inherently flawed from birth, you know, and at least the way Christianity is the teaching of Christianity is supposed to go is that we are only saved by the grace of God, you know. So, not that I was trying to get into a huge, not that I'm trying to prostrate or anything like that, but I'm just, as I said, just giving perspective here. By the way, what happened to Jesus when he was resurrected? Did he just walk the earth forever? No, it does actually clearly state, in the next few verses afterwards, in the next couple of chapters afterward, Leto, he ascended to heaven. Now, again, I'm not trying to turn this into a Bible study or anything, but if you want to learn more, I would suggest you go and look up the Bible for yourself and then make your own judgments on it. I would recommend you read the Gospels to get a good idea about Jesus' life. Gospels of Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. Okay, read them for yourself, and then make your own determinations on if you wish. Totally your choice, though. Not saying you should. I'm not saying that you should, shouldn't, have not. It's like it's up to you. I just recommend that if you want to learn more about Jesus, then you go and read the Gospels. You go read the Bible and you read the Gospels. Goku is the Antichrist. He sacrifices his son all the time to evil. Um, Again, that's what they're trying. That's what the people at Little Light Studios was trying to argue. If I remember my Bible correctly, he was taken to heaven by the same flaming chariot that took. Well, that might be true. Um, it talks basically about his ascension to heaven after he was resurrected. Um, I like my theory where he's immortal and hiding among us. Oh, kind of like the Joan Osborne song. Uh, I was just throwing more joke ammo on the fire back there. Highlander 12, Jesus. Uh, see. Made some popcorn. Will share to anyone who wants some. Haha, yes. There can be only 7. Thanks, 80. Yay, popcorn. You're welcome. Making me hungry. Leap Uletto, I saw BB once. Um, it just kind of sticks with you. You never forget. Uh-huh. 80 smiles at curse words. You're traumatized. Yeah, and Jesus wrote something on the rock that most historians agree said JC was here. What? Oh boy. PTSD, 2 pennies. My mother cursed like a truck driver. Oh, the memories. I would have thrown a pebble at his foot and say I'm sorry. Uh, he sounded like a sweet lady, typical. Laugh out loud. She was a trip and gave me my sense of humor. Laugh out loud. Raised kids, they are all raised kids. They are all sociopathic little bastards. You'll see they need religion. Laugh out loud. Um, I like this degenerate Bible study. I would go to church if it was like this. Um, she also rented records of bird songs from public library and where I got my music taste from. Want to learn more? Bird songs interesting. Have a lot of back go. I was a Sunday school teacher once. Who would have bleeping believed that? But it's true. I thought nice. I used to save lives for a living. There's anything more aggravating than your own kids, it has to be other people's kids. I'm a grand I'm at grandkid stage now. They're all perfect again. Laugh out loud. All right. Well, anyways, guys, I there is one more part, and I talked a lot about like their analysis of the Dragon Ball franchise, but there is one other thing that where we might be in a little bit more agreement with them on a little bit, and that is that some of the material for some of the ages may have been a little inappropriate. Like one of the things that I was mentioning the interviews that they did at the anime convention, and like one of the people they talked to said they started watching anime when they were like 10 years old, and one of the first animes they started to watch was Attack on Titan. The idea of watching one of the Titans actually eat the mother of one of the characters. Now, having a 10-year-old watch something like that, I could see their point there. Now, the other side of it, now, as I told you, one of the things was basically they were targeting Christians who watch anime. The other thing was the old, oh, we got to protect the kids angle. Okay. Kind of kind of going with what we were talking about earlier with the idea of if you watch something like the video game argument, you know, um, but they also were very critical of aspects of Sailor Moon on some of the sexuality issues, including the LGBT, innuendo in there. Some aspects of like certain some of the more incestuous storylines. Most anime fans know what I'm talking about as like the big brother, big sister complex. The big brother, big sister complex. Um, and also, and again, people who keep making this argument, you know, the whole P file argument. And I think that the two things they note from Sailor Moon with that is, of course, Usagi and Mamoru, aka Serena, and Darien, aka Sailor Moon, and um, Tuxedo Mask's relationship, as well as Molly and Neplight's relationship, where you have Usagi, who's a 14-year-old girl, romantically involved with a college student, and Molly, one of her classmates, being involved with a 19-year-old Nephilim. Um, Now, again, this is one of those legal versus moral arguments, you know, of whether or not people do find a type of relationship like that with like a 14-year-old being involved with a college age student, or like 19, 20, 18, 19, 20-year old. That's more of a moral argument, or, to a certain degree. But anyways, let's see what you guys are saying here. Dave? I have no grandkids. My kids were too afraid to breathe after I raised them. Eh. So how's everyone doing tonight? And they can be handed off to someone. Congrats on your raised Leto. Good toys. Yeah, we're fine. Just thanks, toys. Action, I'm doing okay. Full on pot pie, sleepy. You. Um, yeah, good job. Thank you all for a most enjoyable night. I'm a bit on the outs with religion this past week. Again, the only reason I decided to cover it was because, remember, May brought it up last night. Okay, I would have normally ignored it because I kind of knew I kind of knew where it was going, but I figured I'd watch it and cover it anyways. Just, you know, because we pointed out, none of us had really looked into it. I don't even understand why, because basically the video wasn't even necessarily for most anime fans, anyways. It was probably, as I said, targeted more for Christians who watch anime. You know, how about Dave? I've had 4 bowls of corn soup. Thanks. I'm back to making more than my wife. Nature is my religion, not man-written books or sermons. Leto got a raise. Where's my money? I'm allowed Leto. Hello, Dave. You get paid in hugs, Dave. Acceptable. How about Dave? I just got into Leto Fridge. And simple nature worship is all right. No typical. Leto keeps a lot of takeout in his fridge. All right. So anyway, so basically, the two main takeaways are they're basically trying to protect kids from maybe some of the more mature aspects of anime. But again, a lot of anime isn't necessarily, you know, geared towards kids to begin with. There are a few out there, as we talked about, like and the other thing being is that I think they were targeting more Christians who watch anime. So that's the long and the short of it right there. Anyways, I think I've talked enough about that. I think I've talked enough about that. I think I pretty much got more or less the main points out of it. So I guess we can start moving on to. We're almost coming up on an hour here, so I probably should get going on the other stories. So here we go. I'm gonna get started here on the other stories now, and I think we spent enough time on that. All right, so here we go as we get ready to move on to the next to the next story here. Virtual Crunchyroll Expo 2021. Crunchyroll announces new special guest and musical acts for virtual Crunchyroll Expo. Written by John F. Trent, um, published last Thursday, the 27th. So here we go. Crunchyroll announced a couple of new guests alongside a number of musical guests for their upcoming virtual Crunchyroll Expo that takes place between August 5th and 7th. Zeno Robinson. First, Crunchyroll announces that My Hero Academia, Pokemon, Attack on Titan, Young Justice, and Sakura Wars the Animation voice actor Zeno Robinson will be attending the convention as an invited guest. Robinson recently won Best VA Performance at the Crunchyroll Anime Awards for his voicing Hawks in My Hero Academia Season 4. So this is, and I'm guessing most of his work. So let's see. My Hero Academia, Fire Force, Regarding Zero, Starting Life in Another World. I think a lot of this stuff is from Funimation. So he's based out of Dallas. Bryce Papenbrook. Next, Crunchyroll announced that Bryce Papenbrook will also be attending the convention as an invited guest. Papenbrook is known for voicing Eren Yeager on Attack on Titan, Kirito in Sword Art Online, uh, Meliodas in Seven Deadly Sins, Kibi and Tao in Beastars, and Inosuke Hashibara in Demon Slayer. Bryce, of course, the son of the late voice actor Bob Papenbrook. Bryce is based out here in LA and has been in a lot of stuff. Among Along with these invited guests, Crunchyroll announced a handful of musical guests as well. Let's see what you guys may be saying here. Last. Disappointment Expo. Kaleo would be a better band, says one who is clueless about this expo. It's basically an anime. It's an anime convention. Um, so here are some of the, let's see, burnout syndromes. First Japanese rock band burnout syndromes will be appearing at the convention. And from what I understand, they do the what I just recently learned, burnout syndrome. Yeah, they've done songs for Dr. Stone and Haikyuu. I do know because I'm currently watching Haikyuu's third season. They do the third season opening for Haikyuu, which is the volleyball anime. Burnout Syndrome has done the musical openings for both Haikyuu and Dr. Stone. Not only will Burnout Syndromes be performing, but they will also do a Q&A session afterward. 7 billion dots. Another musical guest will be 7 billion dots. And I haven't heard, I don't think I've heard any of their 7 billion dots band. Um, some of the songs they, some of the songs they perform with have been on Boruto, Naruto, Next Generation's Grand Blue Fantasy, the animation. 7 billion dots is known for the opening ending themes for Boruto, Naruto, Next Generation, and Grand Blue Fantasy Animation Season 2. Like burnout syndromes, they will also be putting on a show followed by a Q&A session. Magic of Life. The next musical act is Magic of Life. Um, Magic of Life has performed music for Yowa Mushi Pedal, which is basically a bicycle themed anime about bicycle racing, and Joker Game. Like Burnout Syndromes and 7 Billion Dots, they will also be performing their music and then doing a Q&A afterwards. Rhythmic Toy Wind. Last musical guest announced is Rhythmic Toy Wind. They are known for their single Boku no Koe and the opening from Yoa Mushi Pedal Glory Line. They will also be performing their music and participating in a Q&A afterwards. These guests and musical acts join previously announced guests that include Sword Art Online and Sailor Moon voice actor Karami Lee. Karami Lee voices Asuna in Sword Art Online, and she's Sailor Venus in in the Viz Media Sailor Moon dub. Japanese vegetable carver Okitsugi Kato, cosplayer Vampy Bitme, and content creator Mario Bueno. Crunchyroll also previously released a trailer for Tonikawa Over the Moon for You OVA during their initial announcement of the expo. Registration for virtual Crunchyroll Expo is ongoing now and is open at, and then there's the site right there. All right. So, anyways, on to. So let's see what else you guys have said in the last few minutes here. Wait, it's a virtual expo, so a Zoom meeting as a convention. Laugh out loud, right? You Zoom and they charge you. Just kidding. Huh? Has someone counted 7 billion dots? Bill Gates does. He calls dots people, though. Now they know how many holes it takes to fill the Albert Hall. Am I allowed? All right. So, anyways, we'll get on to, and this is something we kind of touched upon yesterday too. I guess Bounding into Comics finally got around to doing a report on this, and we did kind of talk about this a little bit yesterday as well. Trio of Funimation's Asian American voice actors take issue with white actors in anime while boasting that voice acting affords the quote unquote freedom to play outside how your body looks. Article published by Spencer Bakuli, and it was published this past Saturday, the 30th. So let's get into this. A trio of Asian American voice actors currently employed by Funimation recently shared their frustrations with white voice actors, primarily celebrities, acting in or voicing both live action and animated anime productions, while simultaneously boasting of the freedom their profession allows for them to play outside how their body looks. How your body looks. Okay, that's a bit of a confusing messaging there. On the one hand, they're complaining about the situation, but on the other, it's almost like they're being hypocritical. And they're telling you right off the bat they're being hypocritical. In a May 25th piece headline, Asian American voice actors question why white A-list stars are still voicing anime. IndieWire's Kristen Lopez published a write-up of her conversations with voice actors Emi Lo, Rina Ryugu, Hiragashi When They Cry Go, Afia Yu, Rika Furude, Higurashi. Okay, so these, I guess, are the names of the people in these particular. And Sean Gan, Heikiji Tengai from My Hero Academia. Now, the only one I had heard of prior to this was Afia Yu. I know that she was Loki in Fairy Tale. And I know she's married to Micah Solusan, who, of course, voices Soul in Soul Eater and Yuno in Black Clover. So, regarding their self-declared commitment to furthering discussions about the role of Asians and Asian Americans in voiceover roles. See if you guys are saying anything thus far about this. And you guys did have a virtual conventions don't work. What ends up happening is the convention turns into an auction at some point. Yeah, I mean, for something like a convention, you need to have the in-person experience. That's just human nature. Nicely done, Dave. That tip might be action. Ugh! Racism everywhere. How much for this horror? We got $1 for Dummy Sky. Do I hear $2? People in Zoom call no. It would be neat to see Marky and Rial voluntarily go woke on this subject. Yeah, I know Flash had some interesting comments in regards to that, Dave. Good night to all and take care. I thank you all for sending me off with a smile, winking, blinking, and nod. My bedmates say the same. Okie typical. Great to have you here. See you next time. Night pickle. Atleto. Chanted. Atleto and Chanted. Fortunately, there's plenty of simps out there, and we're talking about a Crunchyroll crowd. They'd empty their bank accounts for Dom. Night 80. Enjoy. Sad Asians, sad Asians racist against their own for looking more Asian than them. I don't know. I've never thought a cosplayer was ever hot. Well, we aren't morons, actually. Anyway, so on with the article here. On the topic of entering the industry, Lowe recalled how during her Chinese American upbringing, I really wanted to go into film, but my parents were like, "You're not pretty enough." I grew up in the age where every Chinese character on TV looked like Lucy Liu. Everybody had almond eyes, super long, straight hair, tall and thin. Charlie's Angels 2000. I guess that's supposed to be Lucy Liu right there. I guess. There are some ideas about who should be a leading character or what fits the mold of certain levels of intelligence when you're on stage, added Gan, himself an individual of Filipino descent. Filipino gives off another impression to people who don't know me. I get Hispanic, I get Native American, and I have played those roles. Now, to be fair though, from what I understand, the Philippines was actually colonized by Spain. So there is some connection to Hispanics there. However, the Japanese American you um, spoke positively to how voice acting allows a respective voice actor to completely embody a different character, noting, when it comes to voiceover, I play a lot of blondes, a lot more than I would have expected starting out. Um, Now, her character in Fairy Tale that I know, Loki, is actually pink haired. Let's put that out there. Having that freedom to play outside how your body looks really appealed to me, declared you. Dan then told Lopez, Eastern culture hyperlifts Western culture, but guess what? They're the ones doing the voices on their end. A claim which the IndieWire reporter explained was rooted in the idea that while Japan and China are stereotyping the US, they're still allowing Asian actors to voice the characters, which Gann believes should be continued here, when the US has a rich diversity of performers. This is a confusing bit of logic that appears to go against the very argument put forth by Gann for if Asian voice actors are allowed to and praised for the ability to voice US stereotypes due to the location of their production, then the logic follows that white voice actors in a predominantly white country dubbing Asian characters should be considered completely innocuous, um, if not outright celebrated. Yeah, it does kind of sound like they're speaking out of both sides of their mouths there. they didn't get surgery when they graduate high school, they wouldn't say such things. Okay, I'd smash Lucy Liu. Lucy Liu may be an actual android. I can relate to the Filipino being half Filipino. Nice. How about Dave? I'd be okay if she was an android. Any Asian that has spicy foods as their dishes are good Asians. They are getting demoted as we speak, I bet. Filipino are lumpla and adobo people will fight for that food. Hmm. All right. So, anyways, as we continue on here, the trio then turned to the topic of mainstream Hollywood productions, utilizing A-list stars to voice their characters, even in dubbed versions of anime features. With you observing that, as far as we can tell, it's not moving any more product, adding that no one went to go see Ponyo because Miley Cyrus' little sister, Noah Cyrus, was in it. At this point in the interview, you then made one of the most baffling assertions of the entire piece, telling Lopez on the subject of representation in anime acting, I'm not mad if Scarjo, Scarlett Johansson, plays a major in Ghost in the Shell, as long as I get a fair shot at playing Black Widow. Yeah, I from what I understand, a lot of people found that to be quite baffling. What did that really have anything to do with anything? The issue preventing you from appearing on screen as Black Widow is not any form of racism, but rather the simple fact that acting and voice acting require two separate and distinct, albeit related, skill sets. Yeah, and the thing is unless, of course, you're trying to do some kind of gender swap or race swap, whatever, as I recall, Black Widow, if they're talking about the Marvel's Black Widow, was Caucasian. So, that in some respects is, there too. Just as a screen actor may have trouble properly conveying an animated character's emotion with only the intricacies of their voice, a voice actor would likely find trouble in utilizing elements such as subtle facial expressions or body language to portray a character live in real time. Interesting point there. This argument is both disingenuous and insidious, as not only does it falsely depict voice acting and stage acting as essentially the same field, which it's not, but this false equivalence affords you an unattainable goal of quote unquote equity, which she can continually point to as evidence of asystemic anti-Asian sentiments. Offering no examples, but claiming that much of the anime being done today takes place during specific eras in Japanese history, and thus the voice actors should reflect that. You further exclaim that this belief was based upon Japanese quote history and the things that are ingrained in that culture. The more that character in the story is about a certain culture or a certain lived experience, the more I would really like the actor to have some familiarity and have lived in those spaces, said you. Unfortunately for you, not only would this proposed standard prevent her or any Asian voice actor, for that matter, from starring in anime series based upon Western cultures, such as Attack on Titan, Vinland Saga, Bakano, or Full Metal Alchemist, but it would also work counterproductively against her own goals. What you guys are saying here, because I know, and you guys have had yourselves quite a. Yeah, we read that, or I think we. I'll fight for that food. You kidding? Laugh out loud. I swear, Kumpla is like crack. People can't ever get enough. It's good stuff. Action comes out of nowhere and drop kick everyone's lumps. Oh God. Uh hey, quit wasting lumpa. The only devil's advocate I can play here is that it is on the surface unfair to hire big name celebs when you could hire voice actors. And that's a valid point there, Dave. That is a valid point. That is a very valid point there. And the counter seems to be going screwing around again, saying that we've only got one person watching. Let's see now. Like when Shia LaBeouf voiced in Nausicaa, they didn't need to hire Shia. Um, they could have hired about anyone and saved money. And no one watching these animes, um, no one is watching these animes because of Shia in it. So why do they? Why do they? Because they believe it does. They probably, in their own sense of reason, believe that having big names will draw more people, even if there's no evidence to actually back that thought up. There, Dave. For the casting. Uh, oh God. Yeah. So moving on with the article, then, after all, if a requirement is put in place demanding that voice actors share some familiarity and have lived in those spaces as their characters, it would definitely prevent her from playing Black Widow or any other such white character due to her lack of quote unquote familiarity with their cultures and experiences. Yet, these concerns are not limited solely to the ethnicity of those serving as voice actors. You and Gan, both of whom have had opportunities to serve as directors at Funimation, ended the piece by voicing their frustrations with how their respective journeys to those positions had been reliant on those with power who are also white. A la Chris Sabat, a la Chris Sabat. Uh, Despite the fact that I actually spent a lot of time directing outside of animation, no one was really looking at me until another director, a white guy, saw me, believed in me, and went to bat for me pretty hard, said you. When you advertise how many employees you have, what about managers? What about upper levels? Likewise, Gann concluded to Lopez, I have my foot in the door now, but it's still hard to push to make myself a permanent fixture amongst that group. You just have to earn that trust, and a lot of the time, it's harder for uh, BIPOCs and women to make that leap. Now, just to remind everybody who some of the people they're talking about in terms of some of the people who are like voice directors at Funimation. Chris Sabat is the head of that department. Mike McFarland, Eric Vale, Pauline Klinkenbeard. I think even Monica and Jamie have directed some. Monica Rial and Jamie Markey have directed some, but for the most part, all of them are pretty much Caucasian. Monica, of that group that I just rolled off, Monica is just a very light toned Hispanic. Okay, a very light toned Hispanic. She's actually, from what I understand, I think she's like Mexican American actually, even though she may not herself per se identify as such. But um, last name Rial, I think, is Hispanic, from what I understand. Um, but out of that group of six, basically they're all, with the exception of Monica, they're all Caucasian. Okay. Um, you do have three women in that group, and um, so anyways, let's see now. Oh wow, we're coming up on an hour 20, so I'm gonna have to start breezing because I got a couple more stories after this that I was gonna try to get through. But we spent quite a bit of time on that first story too. Where are they gonna find someone to play Piccolo? Not too many green slug men on Earth. True. I guess Sabat should just keep doing that one. Yeah, because he acts like a green slug man, right there, Dave? He just green slugs his way to his little casting couch and invites, some of the female VAs to join him, as it were. I was about to say he's a slug. He just needs green face. I let Jim Carrey crazy, man. That's I like him. He crazy. I like Jim. He crazy. Pulls out permanent marker. Monica Hispanic. Oh God. Yeah, her. As I understand it, she actually is of Hispanic descent. Yeah. Draws penis on action. Oh God. Okay. Um, PTSD, two pennies. Uh-huh. Now we haven't heard him back though in a while. Did he kind of go off to sleep? That goat, you still here, man? Let's see. So continue. I'm going to start trying to break because we're already coming close. Okay. Oh, we're almost done with this anyway. What do you make of the opinions held by this trio of Asian American voice actors? Let us know your thoughts on social media in the comments down below. All right. So that's it for that one. And we've been sharing our opinions on that. So I do have a couple of stories here. TV session. I'm going to go through these a bit quicker just because of the fact we are running a little low on time here. We're like at hour 31 already. Action sleeps peacefully knowing he can hit Dave with the flamethrower later. He high as a kite right now. A blaze may be preferable to the prison of my mind. All right. So, anyways, let's continue on here. So here's the next story here. Um, I'm gonna probably read through this a little quicker because, as I said, we are running a little long on time here. Phil and Lil's mom depicted as an openly gay woman in Paramount Plus Rugrats reboot. Written by Spencer Bakuli, published on Friday, May 28th. In a significant change from her original depiction as the more assertive half of the happily married heterosexual couple, Paramount Plus CGI Rugrats reboot depicts Betty DeVille, the mother of Phil and Lil, as an openly gay woman. I don't know if anybody here has watched Rugrats or not, but it'd be interesting to see. So Shorts, Rugrats, Season 6, Episode 34, 35, 36, Acorn Nuts, and Diape Butts. Okay. In an exclusive statement given to the AV Club, which simultaneously revealed her casting as the character's new voice actor, Natalie Morales, Parks and Recreation, asserted that anyone who watched the original show may have had an inkling Betty was a member of the Alphabet Mafia. Betty is a single mom with her own business who has twins and still has time to hang out with her friends and her community. And I think it's just so great because examples of living your life happily and healthily as an out queer person is just such a beacon for young queer people who may not have examples of that, said Morales. Source Rugrats Season 1, Episode 1, second time around, Nickelodeon Animation Studios 2021. See what you guys have said anything about this thus far. Oh, goodness. The Rugrats debacle. I did. Nope. Never thought that. Didn't she always, didn't she always hot on Chucky's dad? I didn't really watch it too much, so I don't know. Hit on. She further explained, and yeah, Betty is a fictional cartoon, but even cartoons were hugely influential for me as a kid. And if I'd been watching Rugrats and seen Betty casually talking about her ex girlfriend, I think at least a part of me would have felt like things might be okay in the future. The AV Club concluded their announcement by noting three things to know about this updated version of Betty. She loves football, owns a cafe called Betty's Beans, and she cracks jokes about her ex girlfriends. So here we go again, them trying to um, revamp a series with modern sensibilities, a beloved series. Yeah, that's going to probably sell. In the original Rugrats cartoon, Betty was depicted as a strong headed, extroverted, and vocally feminist woman. However, she was also shown to truly love her husband, Howard, a timid and reserved man, almost every bit her polar opposite. Given the latter aspect of her character, it seems as if Paramount's decision to change Betty's sexuality may have been based heavily, if not exclusively, on the dismissive stereotype that any woman who shows even a hint of masculinity must be a lesbian. Rugrats season 6, episode 18, wrestling uh, Ramp, Rampta. Betty's sexuality is not the only aspect of the character's identity to be changed for the reboot, explicitly in the name of diversity, as she is no longer being portrayed as a white woman, but rather as a Latina. What do you make of the changes in Betty's character? Let us know your thoughts on social media or in the comments below. Um, Rewriting history like that is not a good idea. I don't think, especially for what is supposed to be a kids network, that is going to really. I don't know if that's going to really fly all that well. Let's see now. Hit on. Okay, so that was Chucky's. I hit on Chucky's dad. I forgot. I'm going to head out, peeps. I'm not feeling well. Talk to you all later. Okay, ATC. I just get some rest if you need it. Hopefully, we'll see you tomorrow night. Feel like that would be a good relationship. Chucky's dad is a good single father. Well, could you imagine Phil, Dill, and Chucky being siblings? That might be interesting. Okie Toys, thanks for being here, buddy. Night action. Hope you feel better tomorrow. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. She was bleeping married. Goods Howard was a God's Howard was a forgettable character. What? That's Betty. Yeah, she was. She's married. At least in the original version, obviously. I was thinking the older toddler's mom. I don't know. Maybe I'm very confused. It's been decades. All right, so we do have one more story to get through here. An hour and 39. So we'll probably wrap this up with one last story here. about another reboot has been getting a lot of talk here. This one being kind of a live action reboot of a well, this isn't about the show itself, but one of the actresses. Okay, so here we go. I'm gonna look it up. Yeah, she's married to a guy with a crusty the clown hairdo. Powerpuff died before it came out. So here we go. Live action Powerpuff Girl actress Dove Cameron reveals she was quote unquote afraid to come out as bisexual. Story written by Josh Berger, published this past Sunday, May 30th. So let's go through this. Dove Cameron, the actress currently set to play Bubbles in the CW's upcoming live action Powerpuff Girls series, has recently revealed that she was afraid to come out as a member of the LGBTQ plus community. I've hinted about my sexuality for years while being afraid to spell it out for everybody, said Cameron in the latest issue of Gay Times magazine, adding that she is no longer refusing to compromise on her identity. And there, I guess, is the tweet from the Gay Times Twitter right there. The community is filled with people who have done so much work to accept and love themselves, she continued. I find the work you have to do on yourself begets your ability to support others. Cameron first revealed that she was bisexual back in August 2020 during Instagram live stream, telling fans, I think that's really beautiful speaking as someone who is bi. I didn't want my art and my visuals to only reflect heterosexual couples. Aside from coming out as bi, Cameron has also spent the last year promoting her left wing activism on her social media platforms, having added her voice to a chorus of woke Hollywood celebrities who want to see the police defunded and openly supporting the Black Lives Matter movement. The actress even publicly shared petition links, protester resources, and donation links and encouraged people to stay mad after the death of George Floyd, even promoting that no justice, no peace political slogan um, through the use of the woke no justice, no peace hashtag. Oh, have died before it came out. I guess not anymore, Dave. Um, oh God, she going to be hitting on the other two girls and making it an uncomfortable workplace for them. So the show will die. In 2020, she was afraid to come out. That's a personal problem. Society is more accepting of bi women. Have been have been for a while. Oh, it's all a sham for visibility. She's a narcissist. Gay said it correct yesterday. The LGBTQA plus community will go for the normalized sexualities next. So gay and lesbian and bi are next. I meant to say Nick said Um, said it right, left. Hold on. Super straight. Anyway, so back to the article then. Thanks to Cameron's support, donations were collected, which seemed to only help Black Lives Matter co-founder Paris Khan Colors buy her dream house. As reported by real estate website Dirt in April of this year, Khan Colors recently bought a modest $1.4 million compound in Topanga Canyon, California, alongside several other expensive and expansive properties. What's more, Cameron also seemingly supported Antifa. In May of 2020, Cameron criticized President Donald Trump over his intent to designate the so called anti fascist movement as a terrorist organization, finding herself bewildered that the former president would not similarly condemn the KKK. Whether Cameron truly supports every aspect of Antifa or not is up to for debate. But what isn't is the fact as the fact is the fast I think it's supposed to be fact that President Donald Trump did condemn the KKK and white supremacists in the past. As a matter of fact, the former president had already condemned racist organizations like the KKK multiple times, long before the actress decided to share her ignorance to her over 40 million combined followers across both Twitter and Instagram. It's worth mentioning that both social and mainstream media as a whole have been pushing the narrative that one's identification as a member of the LGBTQ plus community is an inherent virtue, which in turn affords an individual certain protections from criticism. For example, singer Demi Lovato recently came out as non binary roughly a month ago after she was called out for attempting to cancel a frozen yogurt shop. Given the timing of her the coming out, many have speculated that Lovato's new identity may have been a carefully crafted publicity stunt. This isn't to say that Cameron or Lovato, for that matter, is playing a sympathy card. However, considering the backlash the CW's Powerpuff Girls show has received in light of an alleged script leak and the announcement that the show's pilot would be reshot, it would come as no surprise if the media soon turns to focus on Cameron's sexuality in order to virtue signal and score the live action series a number of woke brownie points. Yeah, it's kind of funny because I think what they're going to go for here now, it sounds like, is they have a bi actress playing a straight character, and you have a straight character playing a lesbian, and the one playing Buttercup. They're indicating that Buttercup is supposedly a lesbian character in the live action reboot. So, what do you make of Dove Cameron opening up about her sexuality? Um, could it be she's only virtue signaling for woke points? I believe so. Yeah, I think most people here in our group would agree. All righty then. So I've got through all the main stories. How much? So we're at an hour 49 here. So it's about time to start wrapping up, guys. Um, hope you guys enjoy. I hope you guys enjoyed the content tonight. Just kidding, Dave. Let's see. But them, they'll just be the TQIA plus community. But then, nice to have you here, Dave. Always fun when you're here. Right, Dave, exactly. That's what they want The end letters is P. All they want really is the P to be normalized. Letter, are you suggesting that the P you're talking about is of a certain lower end age group, maybe? Is that what you're talking about there? Thanks, Leto. I do like being here. I just hate CommieTube. Demi went nuts. She used to be a cheaper version of Selena Gomez. Now she's just nuts. Discount Selena Gomez. Nice, Leto. Oh, Ty Beard will be on Nick's show. Hmm. We'll have to wait and see. Of course, the $1 million question is: did something happen in Vic's case or not? That's what a lot of people. I'm pretty sure Nick has probably indicated something in the description as to whether or not that's the case. Anyways, it's been months since he's been on. All right. All right. Well, time to start wrapping up, guys. Let's see. That's exactly, Mike. They slowly gonna get rid of gay and gonna add new kinks and genders and sexualities till they add the P. Yeah. All right. Well, before we go, guys, there is one last piece of business, and I think you guys know what it is. Are you guys ready for this day in each history? Neated up, oh great Nietzsche King. I guess YouTube doesn't like me saying the P word. Nietzsche time. Yeah. All right. So, anyways, guys, with all that being said, today is Tuesday, June the 1st. So, happy June. And let's take a look back at this day in each history. Let me just remind myself a few little things here, and then we will get going on this. Okay, so without any further ado, let's get started here. Ironic, I know, seeing that they keep those weird kid channels up with weird timestamps. P to the E to the D to the O. Maybe that'll show up. It did, Dave. Okay, so all right. So, anyways, yep. All right. So, anyways, let's get to the Nietzsche history now, guys. And the first stop, we're gonna go back 60 years ago today. As on this date, 60 years ago today, the following milestone issues came out from Charlton Comics. The 30th issue of Kid Montana. Kid Montana started out as Davy Crockett. It's basically a western comic. Kid Montana number 30. Also, Hunk number 1. And Reptilicus number 1. So on this date, 60 years ago today, Reptilicus number 1, Hunk number 1, both debuted on this date 60 years ago today, and the 30th issue of Kid Montana went on sale on this date as well. See. Take that, Susan. Susan will be censored. How about loud? So, anyways, moving on to the next piece of niche. On this date, 50 years ago today, up in Montreal, Quebec, Canada, the Hollywood blondes of that time, Jerry Brown and Dale Roberts. Most fans would remember Dale Roberts as Buddy Roberts of the Freebirds fame, but before joining the Freebirds, he was part of a very successful tag team in the '70s called the Hollywood Blondes. This was a team that used that name that predates, of course, Austin and Pillman using it in WCW in the early '90s. But this version of the Hollywood Blondes, Jerry Brown and Dale Roberts, aka Buddy Roberts, would win the Grand Prix tag team title from the Vachons, Mad Dog and Butcher Vachon, in Montreal, Quebec, Canada. So on this date, 50 years ago today, the Hollywood Blondes of Jerry Brown and Dale Roberts would defeat the Vachon brothers for the Grand Prix tag titles. Oh, there you go. And last but not least, Reptilica. Yeah, that was apparently the name of a comic book title back in 1961. It ran for 8 issues. Dave, it actually did run for like 8 issues. So, um, so last but not least, a little bit of a sad note here as we go back 20 years ago today. As on this date 20 years ago today, American cartoonist Henry Ketchum would pass away at the age of 81. Hank Ketchum, rather. Hank Ketchum was probably his greatest claim to fame was that he created the Dennis the Menace comic strip. Um, so Hank Ketchum would pass away at the age of 81. He was the guy who created the Dennis the Menace comic strip. He also did some animation work for Walter Lantz, um, for like Walter Lantz Productions, which of course did the Woody Woodpecker cartoons. Also, I think he did some work for Warner Brothers and Disney as well. So on this date, 20 years ago today, Hank Ketchum, the creator of Dennis the Menace comic strip, would pass away at the age of 81. So, so Susan ran for 8 issues. Got it. No, not Susan. Reptilicus. The Reptilicus title. Reptilicus is an old M3T3K joke. Oh, I didn't know, but I'm laughing hard at my own joke. Laugh out loud. All right, guys. Well, anyways, we're almost right up to the 2-hour mark. I thank you guys for being here. As always, I hope to see you guys tomorrow night. And tomorrow night we'll probably focus more on comics. I'll probably there are like four stories I saw in the comic session, so that's what. And I knew I was going to probably be spending a significant amount of time on about talking about that video, so that's why I just did anime tonight. So we'll probably focus strictly on comic news tomorrow night. And don't forget, as every Friday night, we are doing, of course, the historical comic retrospect. This Friday, we will be Batgo and I will be concluding our time in October of 1937, in which we'll be covering quality comics. We'll be reading The Hawk and the Clock. Be reading the Hawk feature in Feature Funnies #2, and the Clock feature in Feature Funnies #3, as well as looking up some of the humor stuff in Feature Funnies #3. So until tomorrow, guys. First off, let me get caught up on some of these last chats here. That's the best laughter. Thanks, Mike. It was a great show, and thank you guys for coming. I hope to see you guys tomorrow. Thanks, Mike. See you on mine, Dave. Y'all have great nights. Yeah, you too. Okay, then. So, anyways, I shall bid you all adieu. Good night. Bye.